Imagine for a moment, if the most powerful man in the world, someone who possessed absolute authority, respect, armies, wealth, and an entire empire, if that man, before sleeping at night, reminded himself in his private diary, "Do not be angry, do not be troubled by the mistakes of others, remember death, and keep your character above all else." Doesn't that mean the real battle was never with the outside world? Perhaps the greatest war has always been fought within the human mind. Meditations is not a book written to impress others. It is a private journal that Marcus Aurelius wrote for himself. He never intended for it to be published. He was simply reminding himself every day how to be a good person, how to stay calm in difficult circumstances, and how to remain humble despite having immense power. Perhaps that is why every thought in this book feels so honest and sincere. Marcus Aurelius says that the greatest problems in our lives are not the events themselves, but our thoughts about those events. Two people face the same situation. One person breaks, the other emerges stronger from that very same situation. The circumstance was the same, but their minds were different. Therefore, the first principle of Stoic philosophy is this: do not try to control the outside world. Learn to control your own mind. This sounds simple, but if we look at our daily lives, we waste our energy almost every day on things that are not under our control. What people think of us, how someone treats us, what will happen in the future, what fate will write, who will like us and who won't. We spend hours thinking about things we have no power to change. And then we wonder why our minds feel perpetually exhausted. Marcus Aurelius explains a very profound truth: human freedom begins the moment one recognizes what is within their control and what is not. Your character is in your control. Your reaction is in your control. Your decisions are in your control. But others' behavior, the weather, fate, illness, or the passage of time are not in your control. The day you understand this difference is the day a strange sense of peace begins to grow within you. This book repeatedly reminds us that life is very short. But this isn't said to scare us. It is said so that we stop wasting our peace on trivial matters. Think about how many times we get upset over things that won't even matter to us in a few months. How many times does a single comment from someone rob us of an entire day's peace? How many times do we keep reliving an old regret? Marcus asks, if life is so short, why have you made your mental peace so cheap? Here, a powerful thought emerges. Every morning when you wake up, do not expect every person to be good. Some people will be selfish, some will be rude, and some will misunderstand you. But that is their nature, not yours. If another person loses their character, it doesn't mean you should lose yours too. Your job is not to become like others. Your job is to live according to your own values. This book also forces us to think deeply about the ego. Marcus Aurelius says that whenever you start feeling very big or important, just remember that after some time, the world will likely forget your name. And when you feel your problems are huge, remember that in the face of time, every problem becomes small. This thought doesn't make a human being small, it makes them humble. Another deep concept that appears throughout the book is the present moment. Our minds are either wandering in the past or worrying about the future. But life is always happening in the present. If your mind is not in this moment, then no matter how much wealth, success, or respect you have, you will not feel peace. Marcus says the present moment is the only place where your entire life exists. Slowly, this book makes us realize that greatness is not about getting ahead of others. Greatness means protecting your character in every situation, when things are good, and when everything is against you. External victories are temporary, but victory over one's own mind is the greatest victory of all. A beautiful thought arises here: ask yourself every day, if today were my last day, would I be doing what I am doing right now? If the answer is no too many times, then perhaps your life is calling for a new direction. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that death is not the end of life, but the greatest truth that reminds us how to live life correctly. Eventually, you begin to feel that Meditations is not just a book of philosophy. It is a mirror for every person who wants to cultivate peace, courage, patience, and self-discipline within themselves. It doesn't teach us to run away from the world, it teaches us how to keep the mind steady while living in the midst of it. We will discuss Marcus Aurelius's deepest Stoic principles, control over anger, his perspective on looking at pain and failure, the power of remembering mortality, and how meditations can still change our lives 2,000 years later. Now, let's move to the part where meditation stops being just a book of ideas and becomes an art of living. The greatest strength of this book is that it doesn't advise you to change the world, it teaches you to change your perspective. And often, just by changing your perspective, the same life, the same circumstances, and the same people begin to look entirely different. Marcus Aurelius says that man's greatest enemy is not outside, but his own uncontrolled thoughts. We often assume that someone gave us pain, an event troubled us, or a person stole our peace. But Marcus says no event has the power to steal your peace. We give it that power ourselves. Someone says something, but whether to consider it an insult or not is a decision of our own mind. This is the deepest teaching of Stoicism: your reaction is your true power. This book teaches us to look at anger from a completely different perspective. Marcus writes that when someone behaves badly, first try to understand why they are doing it. Perhaps they are in ignorance, perhaps they are fighting their own pain, or perhaps they simply don't understand the difference between right and wrong. If a sick person behaves badly, do we hate them? No. We understand they are struggling with an illness. Similarly, many people are fighting the weaknesses of their own minds. This understanding creates compassion within you, and where there is compassion, the fire of anger slowly fades away. Another profound thought Marcus repeats is to learn to see everything that happens in life with acceptance, not resistance. This doesn't mean staying silent in the face of injustice or giving up effort. It simply means not wasting your energy fighting what has already happened. What is done is now the past. Now, you only have the choice of how you will react to it. This choice determines the direction of your entire life. This book also teaches us never to pin our happiness on the opinions of others. If your peace depends on what people think of you, you have handed the keys to your life to someone else. People will praise you today, criticize you tomorrow, and perhaps forget you the day after. If your self-respect is based on people's opinions, your happiness will change every day. But if your self-respect is rooted in your character, no one can take it away from you. Slowly, Marcus makes us realize that success is not about surpassing others. Real success is whether you stuck to your principles or not. Even in hard times, did you maintain your integrity? In moments of anger, did you maintain your composure? Upon gaining power, did you maintain your humility? Because a person's true character is revealed not during times of comfort, but during times of challenge. A beautiful thought appears here. Marcus says that while waking up every morning, remind yourself that today you will meet difficult people, there will be misunderstandings, and there will be obstacles. But none of these things can move you away from your values unless you allow them to. This mindset keeps you mentally prepared throughout the day. Then, when difficulties come, they don't break you, because you have already accepted them as a part of life. This book also explains the value of time very deeply. Marcus writes that people live as if they have infinite time. They keep postponing their dreams, take their relationships for granted, ignore their health, and then one day realize that time waits for no one. Therefore, he says to live every day as if it were a significant chapter of your life. Because the truth is, every single day is a part of your whole life. Another powerful lesson found in this book is to love your work. Marcus says that just as the tree's job is to bear fruit, the river's job is to flow, and the sun's job is to give light, the human's job is to perform their best work. Without constant complaining, without worrying about the result every moment. When you make your work a part of your character, work is no longer a burden, it becomes your nature. Gradually, this book leads us toward a mental state where the external world remains the same, but our experience of it changes completely. The same people, the same challenges, the same difficulties, but now our mind does not react as it did before. Now we don't break at every small thing. Now we don't attach every criticism to our self-esteem. Now we don't consider every failure as our identity. And that is the greatest victory of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius also reminds us that one day we will all leave this world. But the purpose of this thought is not to create fear. Its purpose is to wake us up. If life is limited, then why waste time in hatred? Why live in envy? Why lose your peace over small things? Why not live a life so that at the end of each day, we can say to ourselves that today I did justice to my character? In the end, Meditations teaches us something that is perhaps the essence of the entire Stoic philosophy: you cannot always change the world according to your wishes, but you can choose your character in every situation. And this choice is the greatest freedom of a human being. So, if life ever feels difficult, if people don't understand you, if circumstances go against you, or if your own mind stands against you, remember this word of Marcus Aurelius: what happened to you is less important than how you reacted to it. This reaction creates your future, this creates your character, and ultimately, this defines your entire life. Remember, ruling the world is not greatness. Ruling your own mind is true greatness. If you liked this book summary and it inspired you to make your mind a little more calm, steady, and strong, then like this video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more such deep and life-changing book summaries. See you with the story of the next book. Until then, take care of yourself. Thank you.